The regular meeting, the board of commissioners, April 21st, so do a roll call.
Commissioner Ernst,
Here.
Commissioner Engel,
Here.
Commissioner Rollins,
Here.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Here.
and Commissioner Wright.
Here, any changes to the agenda tonight? No. Go ahead. I think you said changes to the agenda.
No, I have changes to the minutes.
Okay, any changes to the agenda? Nope. We'll go ahead and do public requests. If we have any public requests tonight, please go to the podium, state your name and then your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Hello, Robert Duquette, for the record, 5351 Northwest Third Terrace. And first of all, I want to thank Aaron Wright at the last meeting for pointing out that the people who were supporting the skateboard park were talking as if you were the city. And I know that happens a lot with the Beach and Park District, that people come here and look for things. And when in fact, the city is the one that is planning to get rid of their skate park downtown along with their city campus renovation. So again, Aaron, thank you for pointing that out at that meeting. And I'd also like to point out that the best location for the skate park, without a doubt, is where the current dog park is, over by phase 2. We're gonna have a dog park at North Park. So the skate park would be adjacent to potential plans for building out the phase 2. As a matter of fact, I see in tonight's agenda, you talk about how you're looking at the Ocala skate park. You don't have to go all the way to Ocala. Last weekend, I was in Jupiter, Abacoa, and they have a skate park right next to softball fields. There were probably 3 or 4 different softball fields there, a parking lot. There's a skate park with like 8-foot high fences, a restroom and office that was there for the skate park. So if you want to go somewhere and look at a fairly nice skate park, I would say you can definitely just go up to North Palm Beach County, go to Jupiter, you can see how their skate park works. But without a doubt, the reason I recommend that location is, first, it's by 4 different schools. You've got Pope John Paul High School, Lynn University, Don Estridge, as well as FAU. Also, all the sidewalks in that area are wide and smooth for skateboards. If you go to the Boca Chica area, unless you're planning on redoing all the sidewalks there, they're 6 feet wide and they're not very smooth. I ride my bicycle along those sidewalk, and I can tell you it's not smooth at all. And there certainly isn't room for skateboarders as well as pedestrians on that sidewalk. So again, also the city owns that land where the skate park could be, at the dog park where it currently is located. Also adjacent to the athletic fields. If you're a parent with several kids, maybe 1 or 2 of them wants to go to the skate park while another one's playing soccer or Little League. Obviously, they don't want to have to be dropping kids off different places. So again, that would be another reason why that location would be ideal for a skate park. And lastly, I gave everybody in your information on the bicycle rodeo. And I give that to you because it looks like it's something similar to your traffic garden. And it's going to be a city-sponsored event coming up in about a week at the that you can look at and possibly try to use that for how you might want to use that area for the tennis courts. So again, just something that you might want to attend and see how that works. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hey guys, how are you? Eric Sauer, 2034 Southwest 8th Ave, here on behalf of Boca Raton Little League. Understand tonight's the vote for the final design approval for the improvements to our Patch Reef and Sugar Sand. Just want to come and say thank you all for all of those efforts. It's a big deal for us. 8 months ago, I was here with a 1-pager and a dream, and here we are 8 months later with getting ready to break ground on this stuff, and it's a huge deal for us, not just for the coaches, but for 600 plus kids every spring and fall. I've been involved with Melissa for the entirety of the program. It's been great We've talked about everything down to how many inches tall the mounds should be, to how do we maintain these things over decades, right? The durability and of the fences and durability of the mounds and of the equipment, design of the batting cages. And it's been a great interaction and partnership with Melissa. Did we get everything on my dreams list? We didn't, but are we ecstatic about what we're getting? Absolutely. It's going to be awesome. I wanted to give you kind of a sense of the immediate impact that this stuff will have. As soon as it's ready to go, there'll be kids in it. There'll be kids in the batting cages. We're doubling our batting cages. We're going to get twice the reps in the cages. The soft off hitting stations, we're going to use that for warm-ups to get into the batting cages, some minor technique corrections. The bullpens, we've never had bullpens. I can't tell you how Stephen Clyde's a pitching coach. How excited are you about getting some space to do some outdoor pitching? It's going to be great. The competitive level is going to be raised in Boca Little League. It's going to attract more talent, and we're super excited. In the long run, these improvements are going to attract tournaments, travel level tournaments, people from out of town. It's going to reap those tourist dollars that we all benefit from. And that's it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support for Boca Little League. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Harold Chaffee, 6200 Northwest Second Avenue. I wanted to talk a little bit about the skate park. You know, I go down Spanish River almost every day, and it's generally around when the schools get out, and I see groves of kids. I see traffic backed up all the way. You can't even get onto Spanish River from Military. And it's all because the parents are trying to pick up their kids because the kids have nothing to do. You know, that's the perfect place, like Robert said, to put a skate park. Because this way here, at least they could go there, entertain themselves, keep themselves busy, and the parents don't have to worry about being on that line for 45 minutes to pick their kids up. And it really shouldn't be, and the other thing too, is it really shouldn't be in a recreational area. It should be in an area, because that's where it is right now. You know, it's down by the city. It's not by any large condominiums or basically houses or rental units or whatever. You know, and the other thing too is that if it is there, you're actually making it enticing for the kids to cut across the railroad tracks to get to it. Because, yeah, it's just kids. They don't think, you know. They know what they want and they want to get it. All right. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Eddie Thompson, 2411 Northwest 32nd Street. I have to get my address, right? I'm just used to that. Okay. I'm here for a couple of reasons. One is to take some stray arrows from some residents, but I hear you guys loud and clear. Thank you, Mr. Duque, Mr. Chaffee. Second, I wanted to come and report on a couple of things. One was I wanted to give you all a compliment because I just came from a city council meeting where the highlight by far was the adjournment. But after that, the other highlight was a joint presentation made by your director, Ms. Harms, and Greg Stevens with the Boca's Recreational Services. And it was, as I said at the time, a far cry from how some of meetings like that have gone in the past. This is an instance, as I've said, which is a far cry from where it used to be, where Mr. Stevens and Ms. Harms were jointly presenting, completely on the same page about everything, completing each other's sentences at times, cracking a few jokes. And it showed to me and it demonstrated to me, dramatized for me, the fact that we have really come a long way, our two bodies have. And I cherish the fact that that's true. And it's a testament to you all. It's a testament to your leadership with Ms. Harms. So I wanted to come and pay that compliment. I also came to advocate, to the extent you care, about the needs for the improvements at Sugar Stand as it relates to baseball. I was told by Eric just now, he said, oh, I forgot to mention that we have playoffs coming up, and that's true. Boca Little League playoffs start like now, and they will go for the next couple of weeks. But the kinds of improvements that you all are contemplating and that Eric brought up originally, I guess a year ago, are needed and will be a very, very good improvement upon what is already a fantastic facility. But In Boca, we strive for the best, right? And so it really does matter, and it really will be appreciated that we can have double the, for example, double the capacity on the batting cages. Last thing I'll say is pay another compliment. You all have heard over the course of time the issue regarding Boca Hoops and the void that that created, but I wanted to come and pay a compliment to your Mr. Rollins, who has helped to shepherd that, the filling of that void over the course of the last 4 or 5 months, to the point where I think we're at a spot where we will have a good quality recreational basketball league in the fall, so that our kids in this city will have some basketball hoops to play. So that I think will be a good thing. And it's because of good people like Mr. Rollins stepping up to help shepherd that process that is able to happen at all. So grateful to see you all. Thank you all for your hard work. And I have to excuse myself because I have to go to another meeting now, but it was great seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Oh, Bob has something.
It was a partnership, Andy. You know, having your support down at City Hall was instrumental in this moving forward and staying on top of it. So thank you for that. You were at the meeting last Wednesday night, and we had a good group of people there. The organization is falling into place, and I think it's just going to be a great season. It's going to be another complement to our recreational needs here in the city, and continuing what the original founders of Boca Hoops started in their philosophy, which I think it's about the kids, teaching them how to play basketball competition, but also being good sports about it too. So thank you for your support with that.
All set. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, we'll go ahead and close public requests and do approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting.
I'd like to talk about an amendment to the minutes. It's in your folders. It's highlighted. The original minutes in the agenda packet kind of, the words were kind of mixed up on how the Facebook post that Mr. Rask came in and apologized for was posted. So the new language would read, Mr. Joel Rask apologized for his Facebook post, acknowledging that the post was meant to be speculative and not factual, and that those comments were in other public meetings that were in the post. So we just wanted to update that language, if we can approve the minutes with the amended language.
Correct. There's be a motion to approve as amended.
So
Move to approve.
second.
Okay. Roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yeah.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, regular business, item 1, the multi-park ball field additions contractor selections.
Commissioners, we got 2 bids back for the ball field improvements. As you all know, and as was mentioned in public comment, these requests were made to us back in July of 2024. In November, we gave an agreement to Spark Design to work on these improvements. This board has also approved an agreement with Musco Lighting to add the necessary additional lights. That is actually going through permitting now, so the lighting will be installed soon. We'd like to tonight, for your consideration, to award this bid to Shift Construction for the total of $616,628.78.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was just going to make a motion.
I was just going to second you.
Oh. Move to approve awarding the bid to CSR Construction in the amount.
Nope,
No.
nope, nope. Shift Construction was
Shift.
the
Oh.
lower bid.
Sorry. Let's start all over. Move to approve the award of the bid to Shift Construction and Development Incorporated, totaling $616,628.78.
And I second.
Okay, any further discussion? No, roll call?
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to item 2, the city district recreation plan update.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go through the presentation that was completed today in front of council. This talks about the recreation conceptual plan. The city hired Keith to work on this as far as locating places for their downtown amenities that are going away, as well as looking at other needs like the phase 2 of DeHornley Park, doing some improvements at Woodlands for the fields and other things. So we're going to start this. We kind of went over completed and ongoing district city projects. We're going to go through the recreation plan overview, the project timeline, what locations we're talking about, and then staff recommendations, which many of you guys already know this stuff because I talked to you all so much about this. Some projects that we've completed together in the most recent was the Sugar Sand Park Mosaic art installation, the Jacobs Tower, and then of course the city collaborated to help us with our events for the 50th anniversary celebration. Currently working on a new softball fields interlocal agreement. We sent that agreement to the city. We're waiting to hear back from them. I do have a meeting on Wednesday with city leadership to talk about that and some of these other things that were happening with recreation. So hopefully we get something back on that agreement soon. Whoops, I gotta go back. North Park, the traffic garden, they're actually gonna start paving that tomorrow. So we'll start seeing some improvement over there on that corner and then we'll get it painted. We have enhancements to Gumbo Limbo Nature Center. Also this conceptual recreation plan, we are working on it with the city. And then of course, we are a partner with them for the City of Boca Raton Centennial. And the Park Passport Program has been successful. We've actually had people already complete their passports and turn them in, and it's been a nice event to get people out to our parks.
Did any commissioners complete it yet, Brian?
Actually, yes.
I still have to get to Horn Lake.
Oh, okay, she's one.
Because you have
one
to go
behind.
after 3:30 and
Okay, so I'll try to do mine before you turn yours in.
you
Okay.
probably will.
Okay.
Good luck. We'll get you out of here soon, Susie, so you can get right over there and get that done. For the conceptual recreation plan overview with Keith and Associates, the city hired them to help them with this. They initiated the contract on March 13th. There's 5 tasks. The 5th task is possibly not needed. The first is the due diligence, which is complete. Now they're working on staff sessions. There'll be conceptual design plans, public presentation to the city, to you as well, and also to the Parks and Rec Board. And then they are available for additional support if needed. Task 1 is the due diligence report, which we just received back and we're working on. We're going to have a meeting next week, I think, on this to go through it. So they have gone through and talked about land use zoning for the different properties, traffic, utilities, existing site conditions, traffic patterns, other influences on the different park amenities such as easements and things that may prevent developments in those areas. There is a staff input meeting where we'll kind of go over the conceptual designs, and that'll be with city and district staff. The 3rd task is the final conceptual plans. This will be based upon their work looking at the land and what's available and what can be built on. Preliminary budget estimates will be provided, parking and traffic analysis, and then recommendations of next steps. Task 4 is going to happen middle to late July. They'll make a presentation to City Council. They'll also make a presentation to this board, as well as the Park and Recreation Advisory Board. And then, of course, they're available as needed beyond that if it's decided that additional work is needed. So in this project, they're working on the relocation of the skate park, the softball fields, Boca Raton Tennis Center. And then we're looking at additional recreational needs, which are additional soccer, football fields, the turf rectangles, lit sand volleyball courts, an expanded pool, and then of course a field house, which we've identified here as a need for us as well. The sites that are being evaluated are Meadows Park, Woodlands Park, DeHornley Phase 2, Sugar Sand Park, specifically for the softball fields, and then North Park. North Park for the field house and the pool, which we had on our plans as well. Some of our initial recommendations just from staff that they're evaluating is we've identified Sugar Sand Park as a location for the softball fields. We've identified North Park, and I have a slide that I'll show after this where we've located a spot for the skate park. There's also the tennis center, which is really to be decided. The city's going to have to weigh in on what they want to do. We have put in a request to CSR what it would cost to convert some courts out at Patch Reef to clay. We also put in a request to see about converting just rebuilding those courts because those courts are in need of repairs, which we had in the original bid. Rectangular athletic fields, we've recommended those at DeHornley Park and also at Woodlands Park. And then lit sand volleyball, they could do at Meadows Park. There's potential at North Park, although I'm not sure if it would be a good fit there. And then the pool and field house, we've looked at the North Park sites. Those are the staff recommendations. So that's the whole conceptual plan. Those are the sites being evaluated and kind of the needs that are being addressed in that. And before I move on to the skate park stuff, does anybody have any questions about this process?
Right.
You went through the tasks there kind of quick for me.
Sorry.
At what point do the district commissioners have input to the priorities of things? There's task 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or is it like a number 2 or 3 or with you, or how do you want?
They're gonna come back and say, these are what we are recommending you guys do, and they're gonna come and present that to you. That's when you can give your input. They'll have a meeting to present it to you all.
But on that schedule, is that the last task or is that? the
It's
next?
at the end, yes, yes.
So,
Sorry, let me go back to my tasks.
okay.
Yeah, task 4. And then if things come from that, if you say, I don't like this and this doesn't work for me, and did you do this, this, and this? That's when we say we need more input. That's when they'll do task 5 is additional input as needed. But staff-wise, we're working really hard to evaluate the land sites and see what's available. There are some parks that aren't included. Like one of the questions that came up was, what about Lake Wyman? Lake Wyman has a lot of water problems.
Right.
So it's very hard to build there. We're not going to make a lot of improvements there. You're going to be underwater a lot. So it'd be very costly to develop anything there right now. We're looking at, they also talked about what about tennis at the country club? And the question becomes, that's a county property. So is that the right spot to move a city recreation amenity to a county property? Those are the kinds of things that are being evaluated and looked at.
Okay, I'm just.
I mean, the goal is that you like the plan and you bless it.
Right. No, I mean, but I just think that you have a valuable group here of people with experience on things I don't want to get in the way of the guiding of the process, but I want to make sure it's not forgotten, and so.
I will be talking to
Yeah.
all of you as I do about all these things as they come up. They're talking about putting this here, they're talking about putting this here, and we can walk through those things. But as far as Keith meeting with everybody, the plan is that they would come and present it. Once they have a plan, they'll present it to the city council and they'll present it to you all and get your feedback there.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, one last thing. Consider volleyball at the beach. It just seems to be the most easiest thing that.
Yeah,
it's
they're-
like, I don't know why we can't.
It is easy. I think I sent you that update that there are some, okay. Oh, thank you. There are some considerations about turtle nesting season that they can't have it out during that time. There's one location like Red Reef, it's too narrow to have it there because it impacts traffic on the beach. So they do have them at South Beach when it's not sea turtle nesting season. I think they were evaluating Spanish River as a location, but again, there's a limited time during the years when they can do it because of the sea turtle nesting.
Okay. Yeah.
But they do have them on the other side at Spanish River.
In the
Not
park.
not on the beach necessarily, but
That's
in the
fine.
park.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Bob?
Yeah, it's not lost on me that we're making an effort to replace recreational facilities that have been displaced with the recreation, with the master plan for the downtown development. The one thing that I would immediately object to is converting any of our hard courts at Patch Reef to clay. Because we have plenty here that could be available to and we're inside the city, so it would make sense to do that. Hard courts, it's a different type of player that uses those. And if we're going to do that, I'd want to know what the use is of those the remaining hard courts. And I guess if they were to stay hard courts, they would be converted back to hard court tennis after the pickleball covered facilities open, right? Or are we going to keep those pickleball?
We were going to keep those as pickleball. There's a very big cost difference between the downtown tennis center and the swim and racket tennis center. There's a big difference in the cost of membership and daily rates and things like that. So that would have to be evaluated. I think the city would want to see something that's, I know those users are probably looking for a tennis facility that's more on par with what they're used to spending. And that is definitely not the racket center. But I think that it's just being evaluated. We're also getting a cost to reconstruct the courts as hard courts. I know right now staff has reported as very low usage for those hard courts. That they're not at capacity, the 13 courts that are currently there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'd be interested in,
Yeah.
in knowing. And, there's about $65 million sitting in a bank account somewhere from the sale of Boca Muni that could probably help the people who play downtown support their reduction in fees to use our facilities.
Yeah,
Just suggesting that might be an option.
absolutely. I think the tennis center is going to really fall heavily on, we've obviously come up with a spot for this softball. We're here to help with this skate park. But I think in general, the tennis center is a big lift to have a whole new tennis facility. We already support two. The district does between Patch Reef and the racket center. So I think the city has to look at that and see what their needs are and kind of address that within their parks.
I know there's a pretty good contingent that plays down at Memorial, team tennis. And
Mhm.
I know one grandmother that plays tennis there a lot, who was disappointed that, that facility is going away. And I hope that we can accommodate those folks that and not make it too inconvenient, but it seems like we've got the ideal place here for them to play. And we have, I don't know what the usage of the facilities are, but are all the courts lit now?
We have 6 more that can be lit here, and the ones that we lit previously, the lighting has worked for the neighborhood, and they don't object to additional. Originally, there was objections to additional lighting. The new lighting that we installed does in fact not bleed over into the neighborhood, so we have 6 more that we can light. These courts obviously do get very busy in the mornings and the afternoons, late afternoons. During the middle of the day, it's obviously dead because of weather, but at night so we'd have to look at the capacity and obviously the rates. The city would have to look at that and see if they wanted to make some changes for users.
I apologize for getting in the weeds ahead of the process, but
Yeah.
I just wanted,
Those are all things that I've talked about with the staff at the city, and certainly things that we'll continue to talk about.
thank you.
Susie.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Thanks. Just a random thought about the beach volleyball. What would it cost us to take the beach side of Ocean Strand, which is not being used?
Yeah.
To use that as an area for beach volleyball? I understand there would have to be parking considerations.
Parking,
and
lifeguards,
staffing.
yeah.
But I'd be curious to see what it would cost us and how the city could contribute to that.
Okay, we'd still run into the same thing with sea turtle nesting season and those issues, so
Yeah.
I don't know long-term if that's the solution to go year-round for sand volleyball, and I think, I know it would be a costly endeavor just staffing wise, so we could certainly look at that. If there,
I guess, adding on to that, Steve, in the Coastal Star, they had an article about private homeowners who built 2 tunnels underneath their A1A.
Mhm.
And if a private homeowner can build a tunnel underneath A1A, I think we should connect it between it's underneath Ocean Strand to the beachfront. That I think was like 2 or 3 acres.
well, developing Ocean Strand is a separate topic.
I know, but I'm just saying, ultimately, just long term, as you do these things, and we've heard it before from our friends at the Y, you need bathrooms and you need shelter. No matter
Mhm.
where it is, you need those 2 things. And I think that's just a guide for any park. We should have that, whether it's a skate park or anything, you're gonna have to have those 2 key things so that people can go to them.
Yeah.
There's lots of people that use Ocean Strand now with no bathroom, just so you know. Just FYI.
It must be dirty then.
People don't need a bathroom every 10 minutes, right? So I'm still
Huge
against the
smell.
bathroom at Ocean Strand. That's my opinion.
Let's take it back.
Are there any
Let's
other
move
questions
on.
about the conceptual plan?
Susie had some comments.
Going along with what Bob is talking about with the tennis, with the beach volleyball, I'd like to get a census of when the beach volleyball is being used and how many people are participating. We haven't had anybody in here asking for beach volleyball.
We have
so-
not. I've had this conversation with staff as well.
Okay,
There's
so I
there's
just,
also El Rio Park has sand volleyball, it's just not lit. And I know that park was apparently built with the agreement that there would never be lights added, but I don't know when that agreement was made, and maybe there's a chance to look at that and see if there's a way, because lights are so different now, that they
Yeah.
could just light those sand volleyball courts.
and I have been over at Pat Shreve Tennis at different times, and it's not as well used for tennis as it used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how that.
I think people favor the clay courts. And certainly because we have so many in Boca, it's easier to go play on clay. But that's all stuff that we would look at if that was something that the city, there's been nothing from the city saying that they want to do that. They asked to get the cost. So that's all we've done. I don't know if that's the direction they would take. Again, tennis feels more like something that they have to address internally with what they have.
Thank you.
So you're.
Oh, skate park stuff. Okay. So looking at the skate park, we've identified a location. We met with Middle Leg and let me go find my memo here. Having been to many skate parks in South Florida, I can tell you, like, yes, Some of them are conveniently located next to schools, which is nice. Others are not. Others are embedded in parks that are lined with homes, houses, things like that. So the skate parks pop up where they can and people find them. A lot of the users are not only school age, but some of them don't, parents have to drive them anyway, or they're too young to be unsupervised. And some of the users are adults out of school who also skateboard. So there's a mix of people, and if you build it, they will definitely come to it. So this is the southeast portion. To the right of that red area is where the pickleball facility will go. And so next to the pickleball facility, you see a little space there. And then the dark red shaded areas where the pump track would go. And then the skate park would be in the lighter red area. And so that would not interfere with current drainage or current trails that are out there, or the mountain bike trails as well. So it would be lined up next to the mountain bike trails. So those who are new to mountain bikes or want to like gain some experience, they could use the pump track a little bit, or veer off the mountain bike trails to use that pump track and then go back on it. And then we've identified a space there. In your folders, I have a letter from Plan to Park that they just sent today. So we haven't had time to evaluate this with our attorneys, but they did send a letter offering to give us a grant to do the conceptual design, 3D development, as well as 2 community input meetings and an online survey. They've estimated this at $32,600 that they're willing to grant to us. So we'll evaluate that more to see if that's something we could take advantage of to further develop what this may look like as a park. And I also have a meeting with the city on Wednesday, and one of the topics will be the skate park and what they would like to contribute to it. Out of that $65 million, yeah.
Looking at that, where the bathrooms are around that circle area?
They're on the other, like, let me see if I can get the pointer working here.
Just
Okay,
like
so here's walking trails. So we
Yeah.
have some pavilions. I believe there's a pavilion. This isn't marked, of course, with where the pavilions are, but there is restroom pavilions within this area,
Okay,
and the parking lot is
Okay.
back there too, so.
Yeah.
So those amenities would be there. Yes.
Will there be any type of shade?
So we'd love to see some shade out there. I think we would do that as like an option when we bid it, what it would cost with the shade or without the shade. And we could look at those prices to see if it makes sense. I know there are a lot of trees nearby there, yes, but I will say every skate park I've been to is unfortunately in the blazing sun. So typical to tennis, they get a little quieter during the mid-afternoon, but people do go out there, and a lot of skaters pop up their own tents on the side to cool down, and they're very creative. And we went to the pump track at Okehili, the pump track that they built there in the middle of a park, not near a school. And it was very busy. There's no seating for anybody, so you just bring your own seats. There's just a little restroom there, but you park along the edges and you go up there, and the skaters make the most of it. They really enjoyed it, and they're there for the day.
I got to see Brienne's daughter on the pump track on a video, and it was quite impressive. She's very accomplished.
So Brianne, to move forward with it, do you need a motion to go forward, or what do you need?
Not yet. I just want to give you guys an update from where we are from the last 2 weeks ago when we met and had the skaters. We've made some progress. We have Jacob and Sam evaluating a contract that was done with Ocala, because I was looking for the opportunity to piggyback on that contract, just to lock in the pricing that they got, because the pricing obviously is going up everywhere on construction. They offered us that to piggyback onto, and that would be great if we can. But I think they're still evaluating the terms to see what we could do with that.
Yeah, just to follow up on that specific issue, there are a couple procurement hurdles that we want to make sure are addressed. When we engage a professional service consultant, which is a very specific definition under the statutes, architects, engineers, landscape architects, anybody that falls within that general purview of various disciplines, there's a specific procurement process that we're required to follow. It's called the CCNA. The issue is with regards to a piggyback, when you're going through an RFQ for one of those types of professional services, you can't piggyback on another agency's contract. So we're looking at the Ocala option to see if it's an option, but if there's a component of that agreement that includes engineering or one of those professional services, we may need to look at other pathways to get to that conclusion.
Okay, I'm more concerned about the site plan of everything and expediting this part of it.
So that
moving
was
forward. Yeah.
So I did send a request to the city, and we're going to talk about it on Wednesday, but one of my requests was, as a contribution to this, I would like to see them participate in waiving some of that process permitting fees, things like that also help with the cost of this project too, right? If we don't spend a year going through site plan, that's a year of staff time, a year of a lot of time that saves us on this project. So I did ask for that. I will have more for you after I have that meeting on Wednesday from the city to find out what level of participation they're going to give to this. But I hope that we can move this quickly. I mean, we've gone through site plan. This is basically just an amendment because we're just adding on another amenity to it. The platform group is the group that we talked to who did the project in Ocala, and we were looking at piggybacking off of it. I mean, they have it estimated for the size of this that we looked at. They have it estimated between 3 and 3.6 million for the skate park. That would include seating areas and things like that. So, which I think are important for the parents that have to go there and watch, right? We need a place to sit. But we will, once we get a design done, if this works out with Planta Park and they can help us get a design together quickly and get some public input going, then we'd have a better idea of the cost and could be more specific with our request of the city. But I do hope that we get some participation from them, even if it's just, like you said, not holding us up.
Susie?
How do we get the word out to all those people that were here at our last
That's
meeting
easy.
about getting corporate in financial input?
So I think once we have a design and we know how much it's going to cost, that's when we can start looking at that and finding other alternatives to help fund this project too.
Okay.
We just have to have a design. It's hard to go and say we need money for this and we don't know what we're building yet.
No hand?
Nope,
Oh,
no
okay,
hand.
you're
At
right.
the next meeting, I hope to have the Planta Park, if we can or cannot go with this, I'll talk to, again, we just got this today. So at the next meeting, I hope to have that ironed out and that's something we can approve at that meeting and vote on. Then we can work on getting that concept done, getting the public input meetings going and start that process.
Anybody else? Nope. Okay. Approval of payroll and invoices.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make a motion for approval of payroll and invoices in the amount of $2,945,541.99.
Second.
Great minds think alike.
Commissioner Ernst,
Yes.
Commissioner Engel,
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang
Yes.
and Commissioner Ray.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimous.
Okay, reports and discussion items.
Just a few more updates. I think I sent everybody some photos, but the Patrick Park Playground is progressing nicely. We are still slated to wrap that up by the end of May. Again, we're working on a date and I would love to give you a date tonight that we're going to do a ribbon cutting, but I'm not prepared yet, but within the next week or two, you'll get an email from me with some ideas of dates, but we are slated to finish up in May. Could you guys, just while we're talking, please? Thank you. Security enhancements, the additional cameras that we slated this year for both this swim center here and the plate readers here and Patch Reef are also up and running now. So we have some security enhancements going at those parks. And then the traffic garden, as I mentioned earlier, the paving will start tomorrow on that. And that's my updates.
Just one quick follow-up. I know that we've been monitoring some pending legislation up in Tallahassee. I know that Sam and I both provided some brief updates at some of the most recent meetings. There have been a little bit of movement in some of the bills we've been following. Wanted to give you a quick further update. I know that Commissioner Engel had previously asked about some of the legislation with regards to the potential elimination of the ad valorem property taxes. There was a bill filed last week not to eliminate property taxes, but to direct the Department of Demographic Research to conduct a study which would speak specifically to that issue. If the bill were to pass as drafted, the agency would be required to come back to the state, the governor, with a study by November. Again, it's unknown how that will ultimately play out, but there was a bill filed last week which speaks to that issue and does direct some further analysis as to how an elimination of property taxes would affect statewide, both special districts as well as local government and the state. The bill regarding sovereign immunity limits is still moving forward through the legislature. It does have some traction. So we're keeping an eye on that one, which would increase the limits, I believe, to 3 million from 2 million currently. There's the bill that speaks to the performance measures. There was a proposal to eliminate the requirement that special districts annually provide those performance measures to the state. That bill has had no activity since March, early March, since March 5th. So we're still watching to see if there'll be any movement to eliminate that particular requirement. The bill to potentially make some serious changes to CRAs has gotten a little bit of traction. There's a hearing in the Rules Committee on April 16th. I believe it passed that committee as well and is continuing to move forward. That bill, as drafted, would essentially phase out CRAs by 2045. So we'll continue to monitor that one as well. Those are the updates I had, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Susie?
Just one question. I know that there are improvements over at Gumbo Limbo. They're doing some improvements over at Red Reef Golf Course with the pro shop and the restrooms. Who is paying for that? Are we paying for that?
No, that's the city paying for that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all.
Okay.
Brady, was there any discussion with Greg Stevens about the traffic issues over at Petrie Park that I brought to your attention?
The only thing was that they were evaluating their schedules to make sure that they have a supervisor out there when they have all those events going and all those games going at the same time. I sent that list of questions to him, and that was the feedback I got, was that the ranger chief was working with his supervisors to evaluate what happened that day and work on scheduling so we could get
Yeah,
more.
I think scheduling is going to be terribly important when we build out
Yes.
the pickleball facility, so that they don't try to, have a major tournament out there at the same time, because it's one way in, one way out, and it's pretty tight in there.
Yes.
And and parking is at a premium, as I found out when I went over there. I couldn't find a parking place, and when the playground gets going, we're going to have, some more challenges with parking there if we have a lot of activity going on, the diamonds and the rectangles.
Yes.
Craig?
No comment.
T?
Ditto.
Okay, same with me. So
about
we
you?
are, no, I got nothing.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Ernst?
Yes.
Commissioner Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogelsang?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We are.